Dashboards and heads-up displays. It seems to be something that everybody messes up a lot of the time. And seemingly, it's the simplest piece of equipment that you can buy for a sim racing rig. All they are just little screens that sit right in front of you and give you information on what the car is doing, what it's revving, what gear you're in, just the general stuff that you see on your screen. Moza, for example, can't seem to get it right. But one company that never fails to impress me is this one. That company is KGL. Seemingly a one-man army in this industry. Kenny from KGL sent me over this a very long time ago, and I absolutely love this thing because it just proved that the cheapest option is the best option. Now, I do feel bad because I don't talk about KGL enough on this channel because they do some amazing work and he's created some amazing products. And he's just created a new one. Well, I say a new thing because Kenny has sent me a whole box of things. Now, I already know what a load of these things are, and the thing to look out for is this white box here. So before we get to the good stuff, a lot of the things that Kenny has created are just more like improvements of quality of life stuff. So for example here, we've got table mounts and we've got wall mounts for your dashboards, which is a really nice thing, and in the box you always get like a ton of good stuff. This one in particular has got a load of like Velcro straps, and as always Kenny does provide some really good looking stickers. Oh my goodness, there was a lot of stickers in this one. Also, the packaging that KGL is now releasing with their products is just wonderful. It looks great, it looks professional, it's really nice, and it's just high quality. Right, now, this thing. Now, if you are quick with your eyes, you'll have read on the bottom DDU7. Yes, Kenny has decided to take the DDU5 and think that's not big enough and create this thing. My goodness, it's practically an iPad. That is amazing. That's huge as well. Oh, so everybody, I introduced to you the KGL DDU7. Now, immediately out of the box, I can tell you right away that this has been made with much more acrylic, so it strengthens it, and it kind of needs to be, especially if you've got something this size. If we compare it to the DDU5, which I have here, look at the size of this thing. It's a full, this is the full beans, this. Now, I did say earlier that there was another box here, and there is a good reason why I left this one to last, because this is an optional extra, but you can also buy this separately. Now, Kenny did send me one of these earlier in 2022, but I've been so backlogged with other reviews that this one kind of took a back seat. So, Kenny, if you're watching, I do apologize that it has taken this long to review this. So, if we look here, this is a USB light bar or a rev count bar, so you can stick this wherever you want on your rig. It is a really simple yet beautifully made piece of kit. Now, if you've bought these items separately, chances are your dash display does not have the magnetic mount for the LED light bar. But thankfully, attaching the mount to the screen itself is a very simple job. So when you get your LED bar, it should look like this coming out of the box. Line it up with your screen just to make sure you've got the light one, and then proceed to take the top 2 screws out of the screen itself. Then take the magnetic mount and line up the holes with the holes that are on the screen. Then just put the screws back through on both sides. These screws are quite long, so it will take a little bit of screwing. Now that's attached to the screen, your LED light bar will magnetically snap to the dash display. Also, at this point, feel free to peel the plastic away. It should also be mentioned that KGL do provide extra goodies in the boxes like key rings and stickers, but also you can get a screen cleaner, so if you've been touching it a little bit too much, then you have a means to clean it. For what you pay, you actually get quite a lot in the box. Now, as I say, you can buy this separately, or you can just buy it to go along with your DDU7. And again, it just comes off with magnets. Now, I really like the fact that magnets are used because then you don't have to fiddle around with a screwdriver or anything like that. I'm looking at you, Moza. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth, if you're doing an unboxing and review of a dash display, why have you got the 2 R9s sat beside you? And that's because Kenny has now decided to release mounts to go with your Moza. These work. And you can choose what color you have. I've got the white one and the black one here because Moza with the R9, you can have a black or white version. But since this particular R9 I have right here is a prototype R9, so this is the one that I got before the whole thing was like mass produced. It's got no holes in the top, and some people or some customers, they never got the screw holes on top, so they could never mount the dash displays that Moza offered in the first place. So this is actually a really good solution. Once again, everything is all acrylic. There's no metal, which is fine by me because this is a bit of equipment that doesn't require any strain. And there we are. And if we just grab our DDU5, as we know, it's all magnetic. And there we go. That is great that Kenny has done this with these things. That is brilliant, because I thought it was only going to be for like Fanatec and Simuku, but now we've got this. But yeah, thank you so much to Kenny from KGL for sending me these things. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth do I not recommend the Moza dash displays, especially if they go with the Moza R9 and the R16 blah 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 themselves. Now I have never recommended a Moza dash display for a few reasons, chief among which is the fact that none of them are compatible with SimHub. It is the biggest thing. I can't recommend it for that. They insist you use the Moza Pithouse software, which is their own software for, you know, monitoring this stuff. And while the software itself is really good, it is limiting. You only get 9 dash displays, whereas you can create your own dash displays with these ones, and you can use other people's that share them. Another reason why I don't like the Moza dash displays is for one reason. Look at this. KGL, magnetic. Comes straight off, you can adjust it however you want, and then when you're ready you can just plonk it straight back on. With the Moza one, you've got to unscrew them, and if you have them really close to your monitor, which I tend to have, you can't get your fingers behind it, so you end up going down that. And worse still, the cable, where you have to plug it in first before you actually screw it on top. So if you've done it the way I have, you can't go down much further, otherwise you're going to damage the cable. That isn't the worst thing. The worst one that Moza does is the RM dash display. This one is for the R16 and the R21, and while it is very, very pretty and it is gorgeous to look at and it's very well made, the connection is ridiculous. It only fits onto the wheelbase one way, so it has to sit right in front of you, but the way it's connected is these little pin connectors, and if it's not screwed on properly, it'll wobble and it'll crash and it'll do all sorts of things. But the fact that it doesn't have a USB-C cable or some cable connection is baffling. Really don't like this thing. So with all my complaining out of the way, let's take the DDU7 and go for a test drive. Now before we get into the actual showcase of what this dash display can actually do, it should be mentioned that while I am on the Moza mount, the Moza mount that I've got is only compatible with the R5 and the R9. It isn't compatible with the R16 and the R21. That being said though, Kenny from KGL has expressed to me that mounts for the R16 and the R21 are currently in development, so we won't have to wait much longer. But if you are on the R5 or the R9, a mount is already available to you, and that's what we're using today. That isn't all. They also make these gloves, and these are excellent. These are really nice, and they're also very, very comfortable. So Kenny, if you're watching, send me more of these in red. I love these things. These are really nice gloves. So I have the display up and running right in front of me, and immediately you can see that this thing is not small. It is really, really big, and because of the way that I have my setup, it actually covers up quite a bit of the screen. But that's not actually a bad thing for me, because I like to actually feel like I'm hunkered down in the car itself. So this actually feels more immersive, and it feels like the car is actually around me. So for me personally, I really like the size of this thing. I mean, obviously you can have a smaller display, and it should be said that there's no rule for where you have to put one of these things on your rig. You don't have to have one of these things right in front of you. You can have it anywhere you want on your rig. Kenny from KGL even sent me a wall mounting system, so you could, if you wanted, stick it to your wall if you wanted. Especially if you're a person that likes to race from their desk, if you're feeling a bit creative, you can do something with that. Now to come back to the magnetic aspect of this module, in my opinion, this is one of its greatest strengths when it comes to ease of use. As mentioned before, with the majority of products, you normally have to use screws, but because it's magnetic, you can adjust its height and position on the fly while you're racing. The magnets are strong enough to hold it in place, but also loose enough so you don't have to strain or put any pressure on the module itself. Now, because it's compatible with SimHub, this is where the dashboard can truly shine. SimHub is the standard when it comes to running one of these modules, but the beauty of it is that you can download other people's creations. You can even download full-blown replicas of real-life racing car dashboards, including Formula 1 cars. The possibilities of them are endless. A great place to look for things like this is on Race Department. You can find hundreds of these things. And this is my favourite thing about any KGL dash display that you can get. Because it's compatible with SimHub and this is a Vocar screen, it is touchscreen. So if you are in SimHub and it's got a multi-display dashboard in SimHub, you can scroll between different screens and change whatever information that you need. You don't have to fiddle around with a button or anything like that, or even go into the software. You can just go like that and you get different information. That's excellent. That being said, there is an aspect about this module that I struggle to get along with, and that's if you want to use the LED bar and the screen, then that requires 2 USB ports, one USB for the bar and one USB for the screen. And while this isn't the worst thing in the world, if you don't have one of those USB hubs, you may need to start thinking about being a bit more efficient with what you plug into your PC. So buying both the bar and the screen, I would recommend that you buy a USB hub as well. But we should talk about the LED light bar. This is great. Admittedly, it is a very simple piece of equipment, but that doesn't mean that it isn't appreciated that this is still a good module. It's lightweight, the colors are very bright, you can use it as a standalone module, but also you can buy these in different sizes. Now, this is just to match which display screen that you have, the little one for the DDU5 and the big one for the DDU7. And not only that, if you have multiple LED bars, you can hook one up for the rev counter and then another one as your fuel gauge, so you can have it going bip, 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 going down one by one as the fuel depletes. That's awesome. But the beautiful thing about KGL dash displays as a whole is this. Yes, you can get cheaper dash displays out there. Yes, you can get better made dash displays out there. Yes, you can get better looking ones. Yes, you can get ones with a brighter screen. But can you get one of those things as a whole, all in one? Cheap, well made, looks great, touchscreen? No. When it comes to dash displays, KGL are in a class of their own. And the best part is its price. The DDU7 on its own costs €175. And the LED bar is €55. And when you take into account everything that you get with it, all the accessories, all the goodies, the ease of use, the build quality, and the gorgeous look of the screen, that's a damn good deal. So I can safely say that I can recommend you the KGL DDU7. It is excellent. But if you feel like that is too big, then don't worry, KGL also offer smaller sized screens, which I would highly recommend you go and check out in this previous review. Anyway guys, if you have enjoyed this video, then please feel free to leave a like, and if you are new to this channel, please do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. We cover a lot of products on this channel for sim racing, and we do a lot of sim racing content here as well. And if you do decide to purchase anything that you have seen today, then my affiliate links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next review. Have a good night, everybody.